back here again with another Vinyl Finds video. It's been a while since I've done the last one. I feel like it was probably sometime in December, so it's about 2 months ago. So I've had some albums accumulating, so I figured it was time to show them off, and without any further ado, just going to get right into it. The first album I'm going to show, I actually got a Barnes & Noble. That's right after Christmas, because I had a gift card there. This is why I picked it up there. And it's Fish, the Secret Disc. Probably pronouncing that wrong, but just like an instrumental album that they put out originally in 1999, and then I think it was just through their website at that time in 1999, and then it had a bigger release in 2000, and then this just was reissued again in December of 2015. But can't go wrong with Fish. Really enjoy most of their stuff. And then I have about 3 or 4 albums from the Vinyl Rescue Project that I have gotten in the last couple months. The first one is actually one that I showed recently in my Nirvana collection video. So this is one I've had for a while, and it's the Kurt Cobain Montage of Heck home recordings. Nothing too special if you're a fan of Kurt Cobain, and if you can get it cheap enough. I actually got this one on sale myself. Some of the stuff here is pretty cool, but I mean, it's kind of like a money grab for sure. I can definitely see where a lot of people say that, but nonetheless, I think it's still pretty cool to own. Probably not an album that I'm going to listen to all the time, but definitely just something to have in the collection. But the next album I'm going to show is the Mommies Never Been Caught. This came out in 1992. These guys have a really real 60s sound, kind of a punk sound to them. Just a really great album, though. It's kind of something a little bit different. Definitely recommend checking them out, though, if you ever get the chance. It's the Mommies Never Been Caught. And then I also actually just picked this one up the other day. Toll Lateralus. This is the picture disc. Found a used copy of it, so not very expensive. And just a great album from them. I honestly wish they'd reissue with it without the picture disc. Sounds alright. Could definitely sound better, but the picture disc itself do look pretty cool. But yeah, I can't go wrong with that album. It's just a solid album from Tool. And that is actually all the albums that I actually had at the Vinyl Rescue Project, and I do have some albums to show that from Half Price Books that I've gotten there in the last couple of months as well. Not too many. I picked up Uncle Tupelo, their first album, No Depression. This is the 2012, I think 2012 Legacy reissue of this album. Just a great album though from Jeff Tweedy. Of course, later went on to form Wilco. But I also picked up, this is an album that I've actually been needing to get for a while and just never picked it up for whatever reason or another, but it's the Smashing Pumpkins Oceana. It came out in 2012. I just love this album. It's just a really solid album, and probably my favorite Smashing Pumpkins album from the newer stuff anyway, from like 2007 onwards, but just a fantastic album. But definitely, if you've never checked it out, I definitely recommend checking it out. And then I also picked up a sealed copy of Billy Idol, Charmed Life. I already have this album opened, and actually in just fantastic shape. Like, the other copy I have is actually still in the shrink wrap, and I actually have the actual original receipt with it from whoever originally bought it. But this one, very inexpensive, still sealed, so that's why I bought it. Just a great album from Billy Idol. Of course, Pumping on Steel, Cradle of Love both of those songs. I love his version of L.A. Woman. So couldn't leave that behind. And then the last album I picked up at Half Price Books, which is one I was super psyched to actually be able to find there, and it's the White Stripes Elephant And this is actually an original copy. And this is an album that I'm kind of been wanting to get for a while, but and I know they reissued it on Record Store Day several years ago, but probably would have been 2013, I think. And it had like different colors on it, and obviously you can get the regular black version just about anywhere, but I was always kind of holding out on an original copy. And finally one came into Half Price Books and picked it up. Of course, one album, the first two sides, is on white vinyl. And the the next disc is on red vinyl. So definitely looks very, very cool. And just a fantastic album from the White Stripes, from the first song to the last song. Can't go wrong with Elephant from the White Stripes. It's just a classic album. And the next stuff I'm actually going to show are all stuff that I've bought on Discogs. I honestly did not realize the amount of stuff that I've ordered in the last 2 months. It's definitely accumulated. But I'm just going to start showing them off. And the first album I picked up off of there is the Toadies Rubberneck. It's a fantastic album. It originally came out in 1994. And this is the music on vinyl version. And I think they actually just recently, like maybe 2014, released like a 20th anniversary version on vinyl. I want the music on vinyl version because I really just enjoyed the music on vinyl pressings. But just, Backslider is just a great song. Possum Kingdom is just a great song. And actually I had a new album that came out in November that I've been looking for. And it's them doing some of their hits acoustically and some covers acoustically that I would like to eventually come across. And then the next album I'm going to show is the Meat Puppets 1995 album, No Joke. I feel like the Meat Puppets is just a highly underrated band, and this album in particular I feel like is highly underrated. I feel like it's just very, just a solid album, and this is also a gold stamp promotional copy as well. But, you can get Meat Puppets albums relatively cheap. None of their stuff goes for a high dollar at all, but just a really good stuff. And the next one I picked up is this is an original copy of Nirvana Unplugged. This is a European pressing, actually. Just a great album from them. Definitely was always looking to get an original one. I got a great price on this. And I had the reissue of this one, and honestly, my biggest complaint about the reissue is I just really did not like the cover art that they used for it. It just seemed like it was just not very high quality. The albums themselves don't sound bad. I feel like the original one does still sound better, but definitely glad to have an original one. The next album I'm going to show is actually one that I bought specifically after watching Steve Flipside CT's video. He showed this video in one of his recent updates, and he showed a clip from it, and I really enjoyed the clip that I heard. And then I looked up more stuff, and then I ended up buying it on Discogs, and it's Spacey and Shaken, Pete Dodge. Just a fantastic album. And this guy, I really wish his other stuff was on vinyl, because listen to this album is just so great. And the funny thing about this is I was telling my dad about this album, and we went to the Vinyl Rescue Project just a couple of days ago. He was actually wondering if they maybe had it in there, and I didn't think there was any chance that they actually would have it in there. And lo and behold, they had it in there, so I probably would have waited. I could have probably just got it in there, but actually I got this one a little bit cheaper than what they had it for. But nonetheless, just a fantastic album. I definitely appreciate him sharing that, because I would have probably never would have guessed to even look for this guy or look at his stuff, and actually found out that he actually has played with Stone Gossard and Mike McCready in the past as well. He doesn't play with them on this album, but he has done some stuff on some of their albums and stuff, so he's playing with the guys from Pearl Jam. I definitely will dig this, and can't wait to listen to this one again. It is a really solid album. And the next album I'm going to show is a Pearl Jam, the one with the avocado on the front. This is not an original copy, and this is actually the bootleg that they came out with a couple of years ago. bootleg, counterfeit, whatever you want to call it. And I will say that there's like, I think, 4 different Pearl Jam albums that have been bootlegged and that you can find, relatively easy. I think it was No Code, Yield, Manual, and then this one. I don't think they did Riot Act or anything like that. But I always kind of heard iffy things about some of the other ones, and I have No Code, I have Yield, so I have no reason to get those ones. But I always heard the quality on most of them were so-so, like CD quality or low CD quality, so obviously if it's poor quality, I have no reason to buy them. It seems like a huge waste of money. But I always heard good things about this one in particular. I always heard it actually sounded pretty good, and I ended up getting it. It was not very expensive, and obviously it definitely beats paying $250 or so for an original. But I will say I was very impressed with it. I mean, it sounds... I don't really honestly can't think that the original one sounds too much better. But it's on this cool blue color as well. And definitely worth the price for this one. I can't obviously speak for the other ones. I don't own them, and it does come with the book too, and they do a really good job replicating the book. But yeah, definitely just really surprised with how well it sounds. Definitely one of the I don't really buy counterfeit or bootlegs very often of albums. If I can get the original one, that's what I try to do. But I took a chance on this one, and I will say I'm really glad I did, because it does sound very solid for what it is. The only thing, I mean, obviously the cover itself is kind of flimsy and isn't the best quality, but this will definitely do until I come across an original copy at a reasonable price, or of course if they ever reissue it, I will definitely be purchasing it if they ever do that, but definitely will tide me over until they do that. But I was really surprised with how great sounding of a bootleg this is. So whoever did it did a pretty good job. And then the next one I'm going to show is a Smashing Pumpkins Adore. This is an original 1998 one. Again, just got this for a cheap price, so I had jumped on it. It's an album that I've been wanting to get for a while, and they've reissued it. They reissued it, I think it was 2014 they reissued it. And the reissue sounds fantastic. Honestly, I think the reissue might sound better than this one, but what I like about this one is that this one is in mono, well, as the other one, the new one that they reissued, I believe is just in stereo, but I'm sure you probably can't tell a huge amount of difference, but nonetheless, always wanted to get an original, and the fact that the mixes are a little bit different made me want to get this one, and I feel like this album has honestly dropped tremendously in price, probably due to the reissue coming out, but it's a great album from the Smashing Pumpkins, and actually going to be seeing them again in April. I'm definitely psyched about that. Can't wait to see them again. But another album I have to show is Prong's 1984 album Cleansing. And this particular one is a special tour edition on colored vinyl. And for some reason it comes with Prong stencils. I feel like it's kind of odd that it comes with stencils, but I picked this one up on very inexpensive as well, and this one, like I said, is on colored vinyl. It's on this red vinyl. And just a solid album from them. Originally came out with in 1994. Probably one of my favorite Prong songs is Snap Your Fingers, Snap Your Neck. Absolutely love that song, and it's actually the first Prong song I've honestly ever heard, and I heard that song for the first time probably back late 90s, I would say. As a huge wrestling fan, I've said it before, Justin Incredible used that as his ring music when he was in ECW, and I actually remember it being on the ECW soundtrack back in like 1999, and listening to that song all the time. But it does have the stencils with this album as well, as you can see. They don't want to take it out because it is a huge hassle to get back in, but definitely odd that it comes with stencils. I really don't get why it comes with stencils, but... And I don't know if this copy was only available on their tour or what, but just a fantastic album from them. And they actually recently just as early as a couple of days ago, came out with a new album as well that I'm been looking to get. And then I just have one more album to show, and it's an original copy of Bush, Razorblade Suitcase. I really enjoyed their first album, 16 Stone. I really enjoyed this one. Just a lot of great songs on here. Greedy Fly, Swallowed. Just a fantastic album from Bush. But that is all the albums I have to show. And definitely hope to have another video up soon. Thanks again, guys, for watching.